Hello, my name's Mandy and this is my channel Make It So. Welcome back if you've been here before and watched me on my channel, and if you're new here, welcome and thank you for watching. Firstly, I wanted to say I hope everyone had a lovely Christmas or holiday celebrations. I hope that you all stayed healthy. I know a few of my friends unfortunately did succumb to a bug. So whatever you were up to, I hope you had a nice time. This is my first vlog since my Vlogmas tour, when I did that, which was the middle of December. And I was hoping to do another vlog before now, but unfortunately life gets in the way. Frantic trying to sew everything before Christmas and wrapping presents and just trying to recover from my operation. So I've managed to sneak in just before the end of the year. I just want to also say thank you to everybody who has watched my channel, all the views, the likes, the comments, and people who have subscribed. Thank you so much. I still felt I'm new to vlogging, still feel a bit like a newbie, so I really do appreciate everybody. Thank you. Today is my Friday Sews video, and Friday Sews, as you will know, was created by the lovely Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. If you search on the hashtag Friday Sews, you will find lots of other vloggers over there who talk about their sewing journey and what they've been up to, and it's just lovely to find new creators there. Jen always poses a question for each week. So this week's question, I will have to read this because it is long and my memory's not that good. She says, 3 days until 2024. Oh, are you going fancy for a New Year's Eve party? Did you make your outfit? Have you got any pattern suggestions? Well, Jen, unfortunately, I'm working New Year's Eve, so I won't be going to any flash parties, but you know, we have to work. I'm in healthcare. We're open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We volunteer over Christmas what shifts we'd like to do, and I've been lucky. I've only had to work Christmas Day night and New Year's Eve night, so I've had the rest of the week off, which has been lovely. But if I was going to a party, this is the pattern that I would love to make. It's the McCall's M8142. I would do either view A or B, I don't know, but I created a mood board for the Confident Capsule Collection challenge earlier on in November, and I had this gorgeous purple glittery fabric that I would love to make this in. So if I was going, that's what I'd be wearing. In my Vlogmas tour, I was planning what I was going to make for Christmas. Did I manage to make all of them? Yes and no. Reason being, the first one that I was aiming to make for Christmas was my son's dressing gown. So I'm just going to put it on so I can talk about it. I'll be back in a minute. I've had to peel this off my son because he's been wearing it constantly. So I can show you it, I needed to grab it off him. So I've shown you this before, but just in case you've never watched my channel, this is the Arbutus gown from Helens Closet. I decided to make this, again, you might have heard me say this before, but my son is 6'4" and I cannot get a dressing gown in the shops that would even go past his knees. So I decided to make it myself. So I had 5 meters of fleece. You can see, obviously, I'm not the best person to model it because I'm only 5'8", but it is so warm that I'm not complaining. So this was a mammoth make for me, for obviously the size of it and also what type of fabric I was using. I used a gorgeous polar cuddle fleece from Pound Fabrics. It cost me, because I bought 5 meters, £36.25, but like I said, I can't get it in the shops. The only thing that's missing at the moment, you may notice, is the pockets. which I have got cut out and ready to go, but because I couldn't put this on him until he'd opened it, I just wanted to see where they would go, whether they'd be where they should on the pattern or not. I increased the length by 4 inches because of his height, and my overlocker decided that it wouldn't sew it up properly. It looked okay on the front, but when I went to pull it apart you could see all the lines, and I'll be honest, I didn't have time to play with the tension, so I decided to use my Bernina sewing machine. And I also used this Gutermann, it's variegated thread. It's a stronger thread than normal. You use it for decorative and top stitching. This one, in case you're interested, is CA02776. So once it's sewn on the fabric, you'll hopefully be able to see that in the camera. You can't even see it, which is great, until I sewed a cuff up slightly wrong. What they wanted you to do was sew it from underneath on the wrong side once you'd folded it in, but I didn't realise that I'd caught some of the top, so I had to unpick it all, which meant I did manage to rip a couple of bits on the underside. But what I did instead to stray away from instructions was I basted it by hand on the wrong side, so I knew I'd caught it all in, and then I stitched in the ditch on the right side, and I found that a lot easier and I didn't make any more errors there. The belt, so again, this is very thick fabric. Helen's Closet have got great instructions. I mean, they were really clear and easy to follow, but on their account. They did suggest using a safety pin to go inside the belt and pull it through, but I'll be honest, that wouldn't have been strong enough. So I somehow managed to use my Prim tube turners. Obviously I couldn't pull it all through the tube because it was too thick, but I managed to just catch the end, and when I pulled it out it just was enough to get it all inside out, and that worked brilliantly without snagging, because I did try tweezers but they just kept poking through the fabric. And that's something else I found when I was sewing. I used some tweezers and a walking foot just to help keep it all flat when I was sewing it. So I just need to do pockets now. But it is, oh yeah, I forgot to show you the internal ties. I said I was going to do Lego, and I did. So there you go. That's the Arbutus robe. My next make was the Juno pyjamas that I hope to make for my daughter out of this gorgeous mushroom fabric. It's a scuba twill. It came from Nightham Fabrics, and I think I paid about £9 for 3 meters. So this was, my overlocker liked this fabric, and I'd threaded it up when I was checking the tension, because it's not my current overlocker I used. I had issues where my necky overlocker wasn't cutting anything, and I had to order a blade, and thanks to a Facebook group I'm part of, a sewing Facebook group, someone recommended what part number it needed, and I had to order it, and it came from China, which meant I weren't going to get it till after Christmas. So I had my old Juno overlocker in my loft. I didn't want to part with it, but the tension always plays up on that when I try to use thicker fabrics, hence not being able to do the robe. But what I did to check it all out was I put different coloured threads so that it was almost like a rainbow effect. So you'll see that in the waistband. But they sewed up really lovely, and I used some cuffing for the bottoms, and then on the top I used cuffing for the sleeves, couldn't think of them, and then I used stretch bias binding on the bottom, which I did for the last pair I did for her, just to give it added length, and then I used it round the neckband as well. So she's already worn them, I've washed them, and it's washed up lovely. So I'm really happy with that one. And I'll insert some photos of the close-up of everything so you can see them a bit better as well. The next thing I made, so I have made a few little bits leading up to Christmas considering. I will admit with the robe I was still sewing that Christmas Eve, but I managed to finish by lunchtime so I could enjoy the rest of my Christmas Eve. Anyway, this is some cotton that I got from the knitting and stitching show in October. I made a bit of a fail with this one. These are the Margot pyjamas from Tilly and the Buttons. I didn't realise when I bought it, and a top tip for everybody that's new to sewing, check the width of the fabric you're buying, because this is only 115 centimetres wide, and because I have to lengthen everything anyway because my daughter's tall like me, well she's actually taller now, I didn't have enough, so I had some ideas what I could do. One thing I was thinking of doing, because at the moment these are 3/4 and I really wanted to make them full length, so the first idea was to make a fake turn up on the bottom, and then another idea I had was to try and do it so that you had a little strip of piping to add the length, because I've got enough fabric to do it, but I'm trying to pattern match and I'm having a bit of a nightmare with that one. So if anyone's got any idea what I can do to lengthen these so it doesn't look too strange, and obviously to help the pattern matching, please put in the comments below if you've had to deal with something like that before, because it's a lovely fabric, it's a lovely pattern. Again, Tilly and the Buttons, she's always very good at explaining everything. It's just the fact that I made that rookie mistake and bought narrow fabric. I completed my Beautiful Things advent calendar. So I was talking about this before, that we thought it might be some sort of folder because it had pockets with it. So this is the finished item. We were all given scraps of fabric where we had to do some crazy patch. So now it's all made up, it's all folded, and it's got Velcro. And then when you open it up, you've got a clear vinyl pocket this side with a zip, and then you've got 2 pockets this side. So that's a lovely project holder which I can take on my sewing socials. And then on Christmas Day we got this lovely notebook as an extra present, and it's called A Space for Creative Thunks. Now I could explain to you what a thunk is. It's basically the noise your head makes against your desk when you fall asleep in maths class, it says. Thunk is a good word for the hollow thudding sound of something heavy making a dull impact. When you pop your thoughts into this book, they will become thunks. So that also fits in my folder nicely, so I will be taking that in there as well. So that was from Claire Mackaness of Beautiful Things. She does have a YouTube channel called Beautiful Things. If you want to check her out, I'll put it in the description box below. The last project that I managed to do is one of these gorgeous little pockets, one of these gorgeous little pouches from the tutorial that Sew Let Sparkle with Sam did during her Vlogmas, and I just loved it so much I wanted to make one. So I've got my little popper, my label. Now these weren't expensive, they actually come from Home Bargains, so I thought they were ideal because they're that sort of shape. And then inside the pouch are the wipes. So I've done it in the same fabric, and this is some bamboo toweling that I got from Pound Fabrics. I did find that stretched a lot, so I had to pin it when I was sewing them together, and it's led me on to one of my UFOs or WIPs, whatever you want to call them, basically something I've never got around to finishing. I'd started to make them, there was loads of tutorials on the web, but the only thing with these were you use microfiber cloths which are ideal for the face wipe part, but they suggested using bias binding, and I just find that is really scratchy. So what I'm going to do, I've got, I think these are big enough, if I can get one to show you, big enough to cut out a square, and then I'll be able to make Sam's ones instead, and I think they'll be a lot kinder on the skin because you haven't got the rough edges. So that's a little work in progress, but this is going to be a gift. I know it's, some people think Christmas is over, but we're actually going celebrating with some family on New Year's Day, so I will be taking them gift wrapped then. I thought I'd show you next what I got that was sewing related from my husband and family and friends. And this isn't everything because I am seeing some more family New Year's Day and I don't know what they've got me yet, so you never know, there might be some more sewing presents shown in my next vlog. Anyway, I put them all in here, otherwise it would fill my desk at the moment, so bear with me, and please ignore the noise if I start clanking stuff. So the first thing I got was one of, it's a Prim cone and spool stand, because I don't know if you'll be able to see in the background, I have some spools of thread that are too big for the banana. When I do a plique, I bought some, so I asked for one of these, so I think that will help me greatly when I'm doing that. And another one I got was a magnetic needle minder. I do some cross stitch and I am very guilty of putting the needle into the arm of the sofa when I'm popping off somewhere or the doorbell rings, so I thought this might be a improvement if I stick it on here, because I'll be able to find it, because that's half the battle. Sometimes I put it down and I can't find it and someone else finds it in not a good way. So that's another little present I got. I'm going to put it on my lap because if not I'm just going to be bending down constantly. So I've actually got it here to show you, a Prim tool for when I'm doing cam snaps and things. And at the moment it's in a drawer with a lot of scissors and stuff, which are getting quite full. So I put on my little wish list that I'd like one of the Prim tool bags, so I can keep it in there with all the different, I can't think of the word now, accessories, and that'll be a lot safer than where it is at the moment. So I've got that. There's quite a few, I'm afraid. I'm a very lucky lady. Where are we? Trying to be organised. Also with the needle minder, I got this hem gauge or seam gauge. I have got another version of these, but I do find that the little plastic bit goes loose after a lot of use, so I thought it'd be nice to have a spare one for my socials, because I've just made a box up that I take with me every time I go on a sewing social, but I find that I'm dipping into that when I'm at home, so I'm trying to do it so I don't have to do that, and I'm more organised. I can just sort of pick it up and go rather than where's my scissors, where's this, where's that. So that is going to be used frequently. A friend of mine got me a £10 Hobbycraft voucher. It has been burning a hole in my pocket already, but I wanted to buy myself the Tilly and the Buttons Billy pattern, and unfortunately, although they do sell some Tilly and the Buttons patterns, they don't do that one. So I think I'll be waiting a little while to spend that, because I don't just want to waste it on something I don't need. Another friend of mine in a Secret Santa got me, I thought it was personalised, it says Mandy's Magical Christmas. It's by the author Mandy Shaw, and they're actually hand sewing patterns. It's not something I tend to lean towards because I'm a bit of a messy sewer when it comes to hand sewing, but I thought this might be a good book to get my confidence up with it a bit more. I'm trying to find you this gorgeous wreath. I think that's a gorgeous thing that you can do by hand, and that would be something I could do while I'm sitting in front of the telly at night. So I've got a year to do it. This isn't the present as such. My husband knew that I liked this book. They fit on my shelves where I can put some sewing things. I don't have the biscuits that go inside them. They eat them and then fill them with other treats, but I've put my other sewing things in there. So I'd asked for a new foot for my Benina, so I asked for a gathering foot. My husband has also got me a walking foot and an invisible zipper foot for my bonnet that I take on my socials, but we're still waiting for them because there was a slight complication and they got sent somewhere else. I've also got a new Prim chalk marker. Again, I've got something similar at home, but it's good to have one in my box for my socials. So that's even got a sharpener, so that's quite handy. And I was getting a bit of FOMO seeing all these when some of the lovely vloggers got these free at the Knitting and Stitching show for going in the VIP area. And I just thought this would be a brilliant idea, because I do get a bit worried when I'm cutting around the arms of patterns that I'm going to go straight through it. So these are a bit more precise because they're smaller blades. So I'm really chuffed with that one. I'm nearly there. I've got some more blades for my current rotary cutter. I do find I get through the blades quite quickly, especially when I'm cutting things like the fleece. But I did cut the gown fleece by hand because I couldn't fit it on my cutting table, so I had to do it all on the floor. And then the last bit was some fabric weights. Now I use washers for my fabric weights, but I really like the look of these, and at Christmas I like to put things on my wish list that, you know, I'd love to have, as I class it as a bit of a luxury. So I got these from Quilted Bear. There's 4 different ones. I just think they look really lovely, and I thought when I'm doing my sewing tutorials it'll look nice. There you go. And that was my sewing presents. I was lucky enough to attend quite a few events leading up to Christmas once I was a bit more mobile, and I was very fortunate. My husband drove me, because I'd only just had my leg operated on, to Walpole to attend their Christmas party. So there was no sewing involved, it was just a party to celebrate and have food, and we had games. Did really bad at the quiz, but it was general knowledge. If it had been sewing, I might have done a bit better. And I had a Secret Santa present. And the lady that got me this knew that I was getting into making by Annie bags, and she was told that this would really help pull things through straps, etc. And it's called a Clip and Glide Bodkin by Clover. So she got me that, and I do love my gadgets, so I was very grateful. And another event I attended virtually though was the Southern Social Christmas Party, organised by the lovely Sam from Sequin Girly Creates and Christine from Gemini Stitches. We had a quiz with several rounds that was real fun, all sorts of different subjects, and I sat there with some twiglets and a chocolate orange and a nice cup of tea, and we just enjoyed Christmas together really. And I also have attended a couple of sewing sessions with Jen from the Virtual Sewing Room. I've mentioned them before, and if you go on Instagram, she's on there as the Virtual Sewing Room. I'll put all the details below, and you book it through Eventbrite. You turn up, you don't have to have the camera on, you don't have to chat, you can just join for some company, but we always have so much to talk about, whether it be sewing related or not, and I always come away smiling from that one. Plan wise, I'm hoping to finish off the couple of Christmas presents that I've got for New Year's Day, and also I'm hoping to do my Make 9 plans, as it's my first ever one. I only started vlogging in August, so I've still got a few months to catch up on that I didn't get to do or have the opportunity to do last year. And I'm going to try and be a bit more organised as usual and write things down, because I do find I get quite overwhelmed because I have so many ideas in my head that I can't always sort of ground myself to start on one thing. And I'm also going to be doing a couple of sewing projects because I'm doing the So Confident Capsule Collection autumn winter, so I'll be able to show you them hopefully in my next Friday Sews vlog. So that's it. I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody, whatever you're doing, working or celebrating, spending time with your loved ones, and I will see you next year. Bye for now.